He's not ignoring you because he's busy. He's ignoring you because he wants to see what you'll do about it. And right now, he's not thinking about your last message. He's thinking about whether you'll keep giving your energy to someone who's stopped giving his. When a man suddenly pulls away, you instantly start overthinking. Did I say something wrong? Did I do too much? But here's the truth. When a man ignores you, it often has less to do with what you did and more to do with what's happening inside him. Some men ignore because they feel overwhelmed. Others do it because they think they've already won you, so they don't have to try anymore. And a few do it because they want to test how much you'll tolerate before you walk away. If you've ever been in that space where you didn't know whether to reach out or move on, stay with me, because what I'm about to say will shift your entire perspective on how you handle distance in any relationship. Ladies, let me tell you something real. When a man ignores you, it's not just silence you're hearing, it's communication. And believe me, silence from a man can speak louder than words ever will. Women often ask me, why isn't he calling? Why is he acting so distant? Well, here's the truth. A man's silence is his clearest answer. He might not say it out loud, but he's sending a message. When a man pulls away, it stirs up all kinds of emotions: confusion, hurt, frustration, maybe even anger. You start replaying everything in your mind, wondering what changed, what you said, or what went wrong. One minute he was texting, calling, wanting to be around you, and the next he's cold and distant. That silence isn't just absence, it's communication without words. It's his way of revealing what he really feels, what he's thinking, and where he stands with you. Many women start overthinking when a man begins to ignore them. You tell yourself, maybe he's stressed, maybe work is tough, or maybe he's going through something personal. That's a fair thought. But here's the thing. If a man truly cares about you, he won't just disappear without saying anything. Even if he's going through a rough patch, he'll find a way to tell you, I just need a little time. I've got some stuff to handle. A man who values you will respect your time, your heart, and your peace of mind. So, when he ignores you, what's really going on? Sometimes he might be stepping back because he needs space, not just to breathe, but to figure out how he actually feels about the relationship. A man can sense when a woman is emotionally invested, and that realization can scare him. It's not that you did something wrong, but maybe he's unsure if he's ready to meet you at the same level. Instead of being honest about that, he pulls away because silence feels easier than having a difficult talk. It's immature, but it's real. He steps back, hoping the distance will either fade the connection or make you chase him. Another reason some men go quiet is because they want to test their control. As unfair as it sounds, some men do this just to see how much they can get away with. They want to know if you'll double text, call, ask what's wrong, or beg for attention. When you do, it feeds their ego. It tells them they can treat you however they want and you'll still come back. That gives them power. But here's how you take that power back. Stop reacting. When you stop reaching out to someone who's clearly ignoring you, you change the game. You're no longer the woman who tolerates disrespect. You become the woman who says, if you go silent, I go missing. Let's face an uncomfortable truth. Sometimes when a man ignores you, it's because there's someone else. No one likes to admit that, but it happens. When his time, energy, and attention suddenly disappear, it's not always because he's tired or busy. It might be because he's giving that attention somewhere else. Men are naturally focused creatures. If his focus isn't on you, it's likely on something or someone else. He doesn't need to say it. His silence says it for him. He slowly fades out, hoping you'll understand without confrontation. That's cowardly, but very common. Sometimes, though, it's not even about another woman. He might simply be unsure if you're the one he wants to commit to long term. He enjoyed the fun, the attention, the connection. But when things start to get serious, he panics. Instead of talking about it, he retreats into silence because emotional honesty feels uncomfortable to him. Most men don't like dealing with emotional confrontation, so they choose avoidance. But listen carefully. Your value isn't defined by how much attention a man gives you. If he ignores you, that reflects on him, not you. Don't let his silence make you question your worth. Don't start changing who you are or trying to fix what isn't broken. You're not the issue. His lack of maturity, his confusion, his emotional distance are. Those are his problems, not yours. So what should you do when a man ignores you? Match his energy, not out of pettiness, but to protect your peace. If he pulls away, don't chase. If he goes silent, don't start shouting louder. Give him the space he's asking for, and use that space for yourself. Check in with your own heart. Ask yourself, is this the kind of love I want? Is this what I truly deserve? Is this the kind of behavior I should accept? Because once a man realizes you won't beg for his attention, it shakes him. He either steps up or stays away, and either way, you win. Always remember this. Real love shows up consistently. A man who genuinely wants you doesn't disappear. He doesn't go days without checking in or make you feel anxious, wondering what went wrong. A man who's serious about you will call, text, and show up, not because he's obligated to, but because he wants to. So if you constantly feel confused, anxious, or unsure where you stand, that's not love, that's emotional chaos. And you weren't made for chaos. You were made for peace, clarity, and effort that's mutual. The moment you stop accepting less is when you make room for something better. Stop trying to explain your value to someone who refuses to see it. Stop chasing a man who's walking away. Let him go. Let the silence say everything. In that quiet, you'll rediscover your strength. You'll realize you don't need someone who ignores you to feel wanted. You need someone who chooses you freely and consistently. If that man can't recognize your worth, someone else will. When a man ignores you, it can really shake your spirit. It makes you doubt everything you thought was real. One day he's laughing with you, showing interest, acting engaged. And the next, he's distant and cold. No explanation, no warning, just silence. That silence can be painful because it creates noise in your mind. You start asking yourself if you said too much, cared too soon, or weren't enough. But here's the truth. It's not about what you did. It's about what's going on in his mind and how he chooses to deal with it. A man ignoring you doesn't always mean he doesn't care. Sometimes it means he's overwhelmed by feelings he doesn't know how to handle. Sometimes he's confused, scared, or unsure of what he wants. But that's his journey, not your responsibility. You can't fix a man who communicates through silence. What you can do is protect your heart, keep your dignity, and remind yourself that real connection doesn't require guessing games. The man meant for you will not leave you wondering. He'll make it clear through words and actions that you matter. Until then, don't chase the silence. Choose yourself instead. Men are wired differently when it comes to emotions. When a woman feels deeply, she leans in, but a man often steps back. For many men, love feels like a risk. It's exposure, it's vulnerability. And to some, being emotionally open feels like weakness. So instead of saying, "I'm scared," or "I don't know what to do with these feelings," they go silent. They hide in their own space, thinking time or distance will help them figure things out. The problem is, while he's sitting in confusion, you're sitting in anxiety. While he's sorting through his emotions, you're replaying every detail, trying to understand what went wrong. Sometimes, though, his silence isn't about confusion, it's about control. Some men purposely ignore a woman to see how she'll react. It's a test. They want to see if you'll chase after them, if you'll reach out first, if you'll try to fix things. They want to know if they still hold that power. The truth is, when a man feels like he already has you completely, he might stop putting in the same effort. He may assume you'll always be there no matter what. So he steps back, not because he's lost interest, but because he wants to feel the excitement of you coming to him. But that's not romance. That's manipulation. That's emotional control. And if you give in to it, you create a cycle that only serves him. You teach him that silence brings him attention. You show him that the more he pulls away, the more you'll reach out. Then there's the hardest situation of all. When a man ignores you because he's done, but doesn't have the courage to say it. He might not want to look like the bad guy. He doesn't want the drama or the guilt. So he quietly fades out, hoping you'll be the one to end it. That's the kind of man who chooses comfort over honesty. What he doesn't realize is that silence hurts far more than the truth ever could. And then there's another reality. Sometimes he goes quiet because someone else has entered the picture. He might never admit it, but if he suddenly stops calling, texting, or checking in, it's often because his focus has shifted. Men aren't good multitaskers in relationships. When his attention goes elsewhere, you'll feel it. His energy changes, his availability drops, and the effort you once felt disappears. That doesn't mean you weren't enough. It doesn't mean you did anything wrong. It simply means he made another choice. And when a man chooses someone else, your only job is to choose yourself. The biggest mistake you can make is justifying his behavior. The more you explain away his silence, the deeper you fall into the trap. You start saying things like, he's just busy, or he's not really a phone person. But deep down, you feel the shift. You sense the distance. You know the difference between a man who's busy and one who's avoiding you. One still finds time to check in, the other disappears completely. A man who truly cares about you won't let you feel ignored. Even when he's stressed, even when he needs space. He'll still say, I'm dealing with something, but I care about you. That's what a mature man does. He doesn't ghost, he doesn't play games, and he doesn't use silence as a weapon. He communicates because he respects your emotions. And if he's not showing up like that, then he's already showing you exactly where you stand in his life. It's not your responsibility to chase clarity from someone who chooses confusion. It's not your job to fill in the blanks he refuses to explain. If he's ignoring you, step back, let him have his silence. Don't keep texting, don't check his social media to see what he's doing, and don't ask mutual friends about him. That only ties you emotionally to someone who's already stepping away. Instead, take that energy and pour it back into yourself. Reconnect with your friends, dive into your passions, get back into your routine. The more you feed your soul, the less you'll crave his attention. You have to know when to stop showing up for someone who stopped showing up for you. Love should never make you question your worth. It shouldn't feel like silence or uncertainty. Love should feel like being seen, being valued, being appreciated. The man who truly wants you will not keep you waiting. He'll want to be part of your world every single day, not only when it suits him. So when a man ignores you, don't take it as a reason to try harder. Take it as your sign to step back. Let his silence speak for itself. Let it tell you everything his words won't. And remember, someone else's inability to see your value doesn't lower your worth. A man who truly knows what he wants won't leave you feeling unsure. He won't make you feel like a question mark. He'll come to you with certainty and consistency. Until then, don't lower your standards just to match someone's inconsistency. Silence speaks volumes. Listen to what it's saying and take that as your answer. When a man ignores you, it's one of the most confusing and painful experiences, especially when you thought things were going great. You replay every conversation, every message, wondering where it all changed. One moment he's warm, talkative, and involved, and the next he's cold and distant. The calls stop. The texts slow down. Suddenly, you're the only one trying. It feels like being left in the dark with no explanation. That silence feels deafening because you can sense something has shifted. When a man ignores you, it's rarely random. Something is going on in his world. Confusion, immaturity, selfishness, or even emotional games. But whatever it is, you must remember this. No man who truly values you will vanish and think it's okay. Men are simple in one clear way. If they want you, they'll show it. If they don't, they'll pull away. The moment you feel that change, your instinct might be to do more, text more, call more, chase more. But that only makes things worse. It throws off the balance. You end up doing all the work while he does nothing. Sometimes a man ignores you simply because he doesn't know how to express his truth. Maybe he's not feeling the same way anymore, but he doesn't want to deal with the emotions that come with saying it out loud. Instead of being honest, he fades away, hoping you'll get the hint. That's emotional cowardice. It's painful, yes, but it's also revealing. It shows you exactly who he is when things get uncomfortable. And that's valuable information, because you deserve someone who doesn't hide behind silence, someone who can communicate, someone who meets you where you are. Sometimes a man doesn't ignore you because he's confused. He ignores you because he thinks he already has you. In his mind, he believes you're already emotionally attached, that you'll always be there no matter what. So he starts to put in less effort, assuming you'll keep waiting, keep checking on him, and keep trying to fix things. That's where many women lose themselves, trying to prove their worth to someone who stopped showing up. When you feel ignored, don't increase your effort, raise your standards. Let him experience what it feels like to miss you. Let him sit in the silence he created. There are men who use silence as a form of control. They know ignoring you makes you anxious. They know it causes doubt and makes you question your own value. They know that silence can make you crave their attention even more. So they withhold it, creating emotional starvation just to make you chase tiny crumbs of affection. That's toxic. And the more you feed into it, the more power you hand over. You start lowering your standards, accepting less, and making excuses for him. But ask yourself, what would you tell your best friend if she were being treated this way? You'd tell her to stop settling, that she deserves more. So why not tell yourself the same thing? Sometimes silence happens because he's dealing with personal struggles, stress, family issues, work pressure, or mental health problems. And yes, sometimes he pulls away not to hurt you, but because he doesn't know how to accept help or show vulnerability. That might sound understandable, but even then, a man who respects you will communicate. A simple, "I need a little space, but it's not about you," makes a big difference. If he can't even say that, you need to question how emotionally mature he really is. When a man ignores you, it shouldn't make you try harder. It should make you pause and think. Silence reveals how someone handles pressure, confusion, and emotional stress. Do you really want to build a relationship with someone who disappears the moment things get hard? Or do you want someone who stays present even when things aren't perfect? You deserve consistency, honesty, and clear communication. These aren't luxuries. They're the basics of any healthy connection. If a man can't meet those standards, you're not being too emotional or demanding by stepping away. You're being wise. Love should never feel like punishment. Attention shouldn't feel like a prize you have to earn. Instead of drowning in confusion, shift your energy, pull back. Stop trying to force a response from someone who's gone quiet. Stop checking your phone, stop rereading old messages, and stop overanalyzing every small detail. Let his silence do the talking. Because while he's distant, while he's uncertain, and while he's quiet, someone else out there is ready to love loudly, to show up fully, and to be intentional with their effort. If a man truly wants you, he's not going to risk losing you through silence. He'll make sure you know where you stand. When a man suddenly begins to ignore you, it feels like a punch to the stomach, sharp, unexpected, and cold. One day you're laughing, sharing moments, maybe even making plans, and the next, there's just distance. That shift doesn't only hurt your heart, it shakes your confidence. You start wondering if you were too much, too needy, or too available. You replay every moment trying to see what went wrong. But here's the truth. His silence doesn't define your value, it shows his character. Some men ignore women not because they're finished, but because they lack honesty. Maybe he's losing interest, maybe he's unsure, or maybe he's just emotionally immature. Instead of communicating, he hides. He lets silence carry the weight of what he doesn't have the courage to say. That might protect him from discomfort, but it leaves you with unanswered questions. That's unfair. You deserve answers, not confusion. The truth is, if a man can't even handle basic communication, what will he do when real problems appear? Some men ignore you as a test. They want to see how far you'll go to keep their attention. They want to know if you'll chase, double text, or beg. And when you do, they feel powerful. Your effort feeds their ego, convincing them they don't need to try because you'll always do the emotional work for both of you. That's not love, that's manipulation. You don't chase someone who clearly shows you that they don't care enough to stay. You pause, you pull back, you remind yourself that silence isn't something you should fight your way through. Many men ignore women because they know she cares more than he does, and that's the dynamic they want: your attention, your affection, and your time, without giving anything meaningful in return. They benefit while you keep investing emotionally. You believe you're building something real, but he's only passing time. That's why it's important not to confuse occasional attention with genuine affection. Just because he reaches out sometimes doesn't mean he's truly present. Sometimes the harsh truth is that he's ignoring you because there's someone else. If he used to text every day, call before bed, make weekend plans, and now you barely hear from him, it's not random. Men don't just get busy and forget about someone they care for. If his energy suddenly changes, there's a reason, and that reason might be another woman filling the space you once held. Don't lie to yourself just to protect your feelings. Don't silence your instincts. If something feels off, it usually is. And even when a man is going through something difficult, work stress, family drama, or emotional challenges, a respectful man will still find a way to stay connected. He'll say, "I'm dealing with something, but I don't want you to feel left out." It won't be perfect, but he'll communicate. Silence isn't what caring looks like. No matter what's happening in his life, ignoring you completely is not just careless, it's disrespectful. Still, so many women wait in that silence, hoping things will change. They stare at their phones, reread old messages, and wonder what happened to the man they once knew. But the longer you wait for someone to stop ignoring you, the more you lose touch with yourself. You start doubting your worth and silencing your inner voice. You deserve someone who is emotionally present, not someone who disappears when things get difficult. You deserve someone who listens, who responds, and who values your peace of mind. Remember, silence says a lot, and if his silence speaks louder than his effort, believe it.